Of course, there are a lot more than 150 women involved. The main threat wasn't from the security guys in Harrods. It was lawyers. It was Mohammed Fayed's ability to hire lots of them, to hire the best of them, and basically to take anyone who dared point the finger at him, drag them through the courts, bankrupt them. In terms of the legal action, it isn't just against the new owners, the Qatari royal family, their wealth fund bought, I think, Harrods for 1.2 billion pounds. They've just rewarded themselves this year with 180 million dividends. The legal action will be against the police and maybe the Crown Prosecution Service, because these accusations do date back historically, at the very least in terms of 1995. This is publicly. Clearly, there were other complaints, and the Crown Prosecution Service didn't put this picture together, or wasn't willing to put this picture together and, make one and one add up to two. So we have yet another serial rapist, serial sexual offender who's dead before the truth is revealed. But the point I really wanted to make isn't about the flawed character of one or two bad apples, or companies not having the right complaints procedure. But my point isn't really about Mohammed Fayed's personality, or Jimmy Savile's, or Harvey Weinstein, or Jeffrey Epstein. My basic argument is, if you get power and you get men, then they will abuse their power. And that doesn't apply to every man, but it applies to enough men to make it a general characteristic. And therefore, the problem is, you could say men, but I would actually argue, no, we don't want to get rid of men. I certainly don't want to get rid of men. But getting rid of powerful men who've got pots of money and no supervision over them, no democratization, no control over them. This is something that would affect the left. We all know surely about Beria, and for every Beria, there must have been countless little Berias in Stalin's Soviet Union. We all know about Mao and China, the hero worship, the personality cult. Well, there are bound to be thousands and thousands of little Maos. Jerry Healy, Comrade Delta, and in my view, for every story we get about rape in the SWP, and I think there were 2, maybe 3, there will be many others where comrades have decided, either out of embarrassment or out of loyalty to the organization, to keep their mouths shut. So I really go back to the work of Radical Anthropology Group and their theory about what made us human, what enabled us to communicate with language as opposed to signals. And the argument is the overthrow of alpha male power, the democratization of alpha male power, and constant militant elitist, a constant campaign of egalitarianism that so-called primitive communist society, much better rendered, by the way, as original communist society, put in place. So in terms of the monthly season of hunting, of partying, there is this militant campaign. Anyone who goes around in a cocky manner, any male tempted to show off or to use their strength against other members of the group, is radically put down, is humiliated and asked to join in the joke against themselves. And if they don't join in the joke, they're in trouble. If they join in the joke, they learn a lesson. And I think that we ought to learn that lesson. We still need leadership, unfortunately, in this society, but we don't need gurus, self-perpetuating central committees and the like. And I know we've got our problems on that score. That's my main argument. It isn't bad apples. It's the nature of power itself that we need to tackle.